1945, and Britain is emerging from the ravages of the Second World War. The rest of Europe lies in ruins, shattered, exhausted, too tired to think of any other kind of conflict. And then, 4 years later, in 1949, the Russians test their first atomic bomb. And with astonishing speed, the Iron Curtain is drawn across Europe, separating West from East, us from them. This is the start of the Cold War, an era of mutual mistrust, of suspicion, of paranoia, and of secrecy. Here in Britain, an anxious government immediately embarked on a massive and hugely expensive construction programme. They built an infrastructure that would prepare the country for a nuclear attack. That infrastructure, hidden beneath our city streets and our fields and behind barbed wired fences, still exists today, if you know where to look for it. The astonishing architectural legacy of this Cold War period litters the countryside, above ground and below. And I'm going to explore every aspect of it. After all, it's as much a part of this country's military history as Hadrian's Wall. This house, the cottage that I'm about to go to, is built to a standard design. They're all over the country. They look like little farm cottages. They're often clad in local stone to help them blend in. But inside is the entrance, the concealed entrance that goes down to one of these secret bunkers. It's fantastic. And the dim lighting and the colour of it all, look. This kind of hospitalised, institutionalised colour. All the communications were put down here because this was the safest place to be. We're about 120 feet under the ground now. From this panel, which is even now got a protective covering on it, here's the button for the sirens for an attack warning. All clear. To cancel the sequence. And the master key, you'd have a master key, in it went, on, press the button for the attack warning, and the sirens would start in this area. It's been the most terrifying moment to hear that. And actually to do it too. And then you'd have come out. Into what? Nothing. Everything would have gone. Well, we've just been here, Kelvedon Hatch, in the big regional seat of government, but all over the country there were tiny little bunkers set down into the ground which took a maximum of 4 people, 3 or 4 people, to run them, run by the Royal Observer Corps, who were left over from the last war, Second World War. And we're going off to find one and see if we can get into that and have a look round. They're very small, there's not a lot in them, but it's the other end of the scale from this sort of thing. Here we've got people protected, fresh water, fuel, a hospital, we've seen that, all sorts of communications devices, everything. Where we're going to go is the short straw. No air filtration, no supplies, a chemical toilet for 3 weeks for 4 people. It all sounds pretty hideous, so I want to go and find it. And here's the here's the original fencing, the posts and everything's still here. The wiring's all been changed. And there it is. Here it is through these nettles. Here is our Royal Observer Corps bunker. We found it. In here, below here, a small room between the entrance shaft and the ventilation shaft there. 4 men would stay down here until basically the food ran out, because when they'd come up, all this would have been destroyed, and the oh, there's some ventilation equipment left on the side of the pillar. Great. There was nothing for them to do. Their job was redundant. They were finished. But now let's see if we can get in. This is wow. Oh, how tantalising. There's the air shaft. Hang on. Ah, come around here, look at this. Ready? A system of counterweights. And there we are. There, that's solid. It's earthed here for any static shock. There would have been a warning sign, triangle there. And down the shaft. There we are, we're in. I'll see you in a minute. I'm going down. Oh, yeah. Oh, it smells pretty rancid. Oh, God. Hey, this is good. We're down. Entrance shaft, we're about 15 feet under the ground. The loo was here, the door's still here. The pump here was for pumping water out of this sump where it might have gathered. It's still got the handle on. It still works. And in here, a bit of rubbish. And there's a piece of paper on the ground, which I just want to read. The cluster log for the fixed survey meter. Here are the mattresses. God, here are the mattresses still. Look. One of them's still wrapped up in its box, in its plastic packing, I mean. Ah! There. Not to be opened until required for use. It's a sad, lonely little box, isn't it? Oh, right, well, I'm going to get out now. Which is something the blokes that worked in here, had the bomb gone off, wouldn't have been able to do. Incidentally, you know, looking at this shutter here, the lid, the entrance hatch, there's no rubber sealant to keep out any air or any dust. There's nothing that makes this airtight in any way. You've got the ventilation shafts. They don't have any filters on. This doesn't have any filter on. At the bottom, there's a wooden door. But there's something even more ludicrous than that, because where you are is the ground zero indicator, which was a thing that sat like in a biscuit tin here. We saw one back in Kelvedon Hatch, and they had 4 pieces of photographic paper, which were slotted into grooves here. And wherever the bomb went off, it burnt a little hole on the photographic paper. Now, the more ludicrous part of all of that is that once one bomb had gone off, somebody had to come out of the shelter and change the photographic paper for the next bomb. So they'd wait. I remember they had a time thing. They'd wait till the bomb had gone off, then somebody came up with 4 fresh sheets of photographic paper, took out the old ones, slotted them in, looked up at the mushroom cloud and the plume, if he was able to do that, and then climbed back in and went down. There's something about the joined-up thinking that wasn't happening that makes me marvel at how we all bought that, how those people, those volunteers, settled for that. Why did they do that? Why didn't anybody invent something that didn't need a man to come out of the ground and change the photographic paper?